I'm absolutely devastated. I've heard that David has died, and he was a dear friend, a great colleague. We came into the house together in 1983. We've worked together on so many projects. He was a staunch supporter of animal welfare, which I've worked with him on. He's the dearest, kindest man, and I'm desperately sorry for him and for his family. It's frightful.
This is, I mean, I don't even know, Roger, where to begin in really responding to what we are hearing now. We have talked a little this afternoon about how rare it is for people in your position to be attacked. It's not unprecedented, however, and there is, I suppose, when doing any job where you are face to face with members of the public and a whole array of issues and concerns and predicaments and dispositions, I suppose there is an underpinning of risk associated with that. And I think we just lost Roger Gale's line at that point. We're going to speak to our news editor in a few moments' time, our head of news here on Talk Radio. But that is the latest news that we are hearing. Essex police are telling us a man has died at the scene of this stabbing. Some news organisations are going further in the detail of that, and Roger Gale said that he had heard more detail. But I just want to bring you the news as we're hearing this. This is an incredibly tragic story, of course, regardless of the finer details being confirmed or explained to us from Essex Police. But that is the news that we have at the moment. That earlier we reported that David Amess had been stabbed multiple times while holding a surgery in his constituency in Leigh-on-Sea in Essex. And the latest news we're hearing now, some 2 hours or so later, is that a man has died at the scene. Somebody was arrested. A knife, we understand, has been recovered by the police. This is terrible news. Carrie Johnson, the Prime Minister's wife, tweeting absolutely devastating news about Sir David Amess. That's been echoed really across the House and across party. David Spencer is Talk Radio's news editor. He's with us. I think he can join us now. David, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to you.
This story isn't getting any better.
No, when we spoke a short time ago, we were hearing comments from the likes of Ian Duncan Smith about this incident. We think it started just after midday. Sir David Amess holding a constituency surgery, as they're called, but a constituency meeting in Leigh-on-Sea, and reports of a man running into the church where it's being held, and David Amess being stabbed multiple times. And Ian Duncan Smith had spoken about an hour ago about how concerned he was because he had been stabbed a number of times. The statement from police is that a man has died at the scene. Obviously, there are reports that that is Sir David Amess. That has yet to be confirmed, but you've read some of the comments already in the last few moments from the Prime Minister's wife, for example. But you are going to see more and more tributes now, in that sense, to David Amess for his work. We've discussed the security around these surgeries, the incidents that we've had with Joe Cox and Stephen Timms previously, in terms of incidents involving MPs and holding constituency surgeries. And what is tragic about this is just how close David Amess was to his community that he'd represented for so many years and proudly in the Commons, and someone hugely liked on both sides, all parties in the House of Commons. And just a tragic incident, but the obvious questions will follow about security around these surgeries.
And it's, again, the build up to these discussions clearly means that something horrendous happens. We saw it with Stephen Timms. We saw it with Joe Cox. Stephen Timms survived that attack some 10 years or so ago, David. Joe Cox didn't. And it looks as if we are in a similar situation here, that Sir David Amess has lost his life in the same capacity. The tragedy of doing your job, the heart of the democratic process, speaking to constituents, is perhaps an even more troubling backdrop to what is already a devastating and horrendous story.
And of course, MPs have only just started meeting members of the public, and these Friday surgeries, Friday is the day when they hold these constituency meetings. And because of the pandemic, they'd only just restarted relatively recently. And so while those incidents you mentioned before, 2010 with Stephen Timms, who survived that incident, there were questions about how the meetings were held, where they'd be held, the types of venue that they'd be held in. With the horrific murder of Joe Cox, extra security in place, the almost vetting of people turning up, make sure you could book an appointment as opposed to just turn up to meet your MP. But as we've discussed already, and more will over the coming days, I'm sure, Ian, is about how much you can water down this process and then remove the MP from the very people that they are representing and they need to be connected to. And I think when we've seen the politics of the last few years played out, that it's almost been more and more important for members of the community to be able to talk to their MP. I mean, someone like Jacob Rees-Mogg, I've seen talk about those moments, and I've seen times when he's had those sort of confrontations in terms of discussions with members of the public, but he welcomes that opportunity because he feels that that is needed. And MPs do like to have those discussions, make people feel that they are approachable and listen to their arguments. And this horrific story playing out from Leigh-on-Sea today raises questions about how they're therefore handled and how you hold these constituency surgeries. But it would be really sad if they were stopped completely. In the short term, there may well have to be, over the coming weeks, a definite review of security, given what has played out today.
Indeed. David.